coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
An expert warns a loophole in state politics is back as a court makes way for more dark money. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reed.
And I'm Emily Spain. Yesterday, an appeals court ruled PACs are like people and can now donate to each other, something many voters wanted to stop years ago. KOMU 8's Monica Harkins is outside of the studio to give us more on what this could mean for future elections.
It's a reverse to something voters said they wanted. One MU law professor says this will make it harder for voters to see who's behind the curtain. It's a matter of money. The appeals court cited free speech as the reason for their decision this week. Live in Columbia, Monica Harkins, KOMU 8 News.
Today, a Boone County judge sentenced a driver who crashed into a school bus and killed a popular coach. The crash killed Harrisburg cross-country coach Brian Simpson and injured 4 team members. Brandon Brill will serve 22 years for involuntary manslaughter and assault. During final testimony, the Harrisburg community remembered Coach Simpson.
Man, Brian Simpson was. He'll always be remembered and revered. Just a true professional, a great husband, a great father. Extemporary educator, and just really sad day.
Despite pleading guilty, Brill and his family will still attempt to appeal his sentence.
10,000 open jobs, but not enough people to fill the spots. That's the situation in the STEM field right now. Lawmakers are trying to fix it by attempting to pass a bill this week in the special session. KOMU 8's Eric Graves introduces us to a prospective worker who has a whole lot of job options. Eric.
Emily, lawmakers want STEM opportunities and education to come a lot sooner for students across Missouri. I talked to one job-searching engineer who says the sooner students get access to STEM opportunities, the better.
It has to start young.
Sabrina Kowalik has wanted to... Today at the Capitol, the STEM bill passed through committee hearings. Tomorrow, the bill will hit the House floor for representatives to deliberate over. In the studio, Eric Graves, KOMU 8 News.
Senator Claire McCaskill made a stop at MU today to encourage young voters to participate in November's election. KOMU 8's Elise Briscoe tells us what questions students had for her.
The Mizzou Democrats organization hosted Senator McCaskill in a town hall-style meeting. Students were encouraged to ask the senator questions about topics that mattered to them the most. The stop was part of Senator McCaskill's Your Vote Counts campus tour. McCaskill encouraged students to join campaigns to learn as much as they can about the political process. While some protesters greeted McCaskill outside yelling, "Fire Claire," one Republican voter attended her session to hear from the other side.
While I am a registered Republican, I still believe Democrats can still get the job done.
That was Ben Ritter, a student who asked the senator a question today about her ability to be bipartisan. McCaskill answered, saying the only way to get things done in Washington is to be bipartisan. The senator's Republican opponent, Josh Hawley, is scheduled to talk in Columbia tomorrow morning at More Source Incorporated. The event is one of his stops on his working tour. In the studio, Elise Briscoe, KOMU 8 News.
Americans as a nation promised to never forget the thousands of victims of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. 17 years ago today was a dark day. In Shanksville, Pennsylvania, 40 wind chimes representing the 40 people who died on United Flight 93 will hang in a tower where the plane crashed. President Trump lauded their sacrifice in stopping the hijackers from reaching their intended target.
They boarded the plane as strangers, and they entered eternity, linked forever as true heroes.
In New York City, families of victims gathered at the Ground Zero Memorial to mark the anniversary. Firefighters marched with bagpipes as others held the American flag that survived after the towers fell. A Columbia memorial service was held as well. MU Chancellor Alexander Cartwright placed a wreath in front of the columns. Considering this happened 17 years ago, many college students aren't old enough to remember the events of that day. Others do remember the tragedy and what happened afterwards.
I do think it's important to commemorate and honor the victims and the first responders and all the people that willingly and unwillingly sacrificed their lives for freedom.
The Columbia Fire Department flew an American flag. The assistant chief says 9/11 is a part of the nation's history. He says the MU event shows how tragedies can bring communities together.
As Hurricane Florence approaches the East Coast, some more brave Missourians head into the storm.
Governor Mike Parson has ordered all flags to be flown at half-staff Thursday to honor a Southwest Missouri Sheriff's deputy who died in the line of duty. Deputy Aaron Roberts drowned Friday night. Floodwaters swept his patrol car off a roadway. Services for Roberts are Thursday in Springfield. The operators of the duck boat that sank near Branson are challenging Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley's lawsuit. Attorneys for Branson Duck Vehicles and Ripley Entertainment, Inc. are asking for dismissal, saying it is full of factual inaccuracies. The lawsuit seeks financial penalties and would prohibit the future use of duck boats. Hawley's office says the rebuttal is a, quote, a frivolous attempt to evade responsibility for the deaths of 17 people.
Here's what's happening right now. A search is underway in Fulton after two boys escaped from the Division of Youth Services earlier today. They were last seen in the woods near the Southwind subdivision. The Fulton Police Department is warning people to lock their vehicles and report any suspicious activity in the area. A precautionary boil water advisory is in effect for people who live between Providence and Gans Creek Road. It's a result of a water main leak and low pressure. The advisory for Consolidated Public Water Supply District Number 1 will stay in effect until noon on Thursday. Kent?
Here's your flight forecast.
Beautiful weather here, but definitely the big weather talker is Hurricane Florence.
Yeah.
You know, I recently moved back from North Carolina. All my extended family lives there. My grandparents are evacuating and moving closer inland, and they're all talking about, is this going to be another Hazel, another Hugo? So it's been a while. But historically,
since we've had one.
Right, historically there have been Category 4 hurricanes.
Yes, so if we just look, we can look at this here, and we can see that just on Category 4 hurricanes, so this is of course Florence here that we're dealing with right now, and then also we're looking at other ones. Emily, you mentioned Hugo, so if we go just in chronological order here, you can see, so here's Florence, and then we have Hugo, that's from 1989. That went right into South Carolina. Then you had Gracie in 1959, very similar there, about 30 years earlier, but still a Category 4 hurricane. Then you had Hazel. Emily mentioned that one. That one was the one for North Carolina in 1954. And also something I want to mention here is Helene. We have a Helene right now, but there was also one in 1958, and that didn't actually make landfall, but it got very close to the Carolina border there as well.
Missourians know tornadoes more than they know hurricanes, and the peak period for tornadoes tends to be about the middle of May. Yeah. Is there a peak period when it comes to these really large, dangerous hurricanes?
Yeah, actually, it's the beginning of September, which is where we're at right now. So we are in the heart of hurricane season. Which is why we're seeing this.
Okay, Kenton, thank you very much. As the storm gets closer, North Carolina's governor is telling residents to evacuate this, while members of Missouri Task Force 1 are heading right into the storm. KMUH's Alex Arger is live in the studio to tell us more about the trip.
There are 28 FEMA urban search and rescue task forces in the country. Today, FEMA deployed Missouri's branch to help rescue efforts in the Carolinas.
The National Hurricane Center says this disaster is life-threatening. More than 1.5.
I also spoke to the task force's bus driver. After taking them to Hurricane Harvey last year, he says the team's work has inspired him to be part of the task force by next year. Members will stop in Charleston, West Virginia for the night and head to Raleigh in the morning. Reporting in the studio, Alex Arger, KMU8 News.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. A break coming up, but first, your lottery numbers. Good luck.
Elizabeth Smart, the woman kidnapped and held captive in 2002, is outraged one of her kidnappers will walk free sooner than expected. Wanda Barzee, who helped kidnap Smart and hold her hostage for 9 months, will walk out of prison next week, more than 5 years earlier than anticipated. The Utah Board of Pardons and Parole announced it reversed its original decision, saying it didn't give Barzee credit for her time served in federal prison.
A Florida man is alive after being attacked by an 11-foot alligator while trying to retrieve a golf disc. 35-year-old Richard Peel jumped into a pond at Clearwater Disc Golf Course on Monday when the gator, known as Fat Daddy, attacked him. He was able to stab the gator in the eye, then other people on the course pulled him out of the gator's mouth.
We heard the guy scream, so the three of the guys came running over, and basically they were pulling on him as the alligator was pulling him back in the water.
Tug of war.
Yeah, exactly.
Scary stuff. Peel was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The gator was caught by trappers. Now here's a look at what we're following for KOMU8 News today. A Mid-Missouri school district is teaching students how to respond to emergency situations on a bus.
The district believes this type of training is necessary. That's coming up tomorrow morning. Kenton.
Temperatures at sunrise around 60 degrees with a little bit of fog possible. Then we're at 82 in the afternoon. A lot of sunshine, but a few passing clouds expected. Then we're at 85 on Thursday, 88 there on Friday, and we're going to have a little bit of humidity on Friday too, so that is going to make us feel like lower 90s, about 92 there. But would you rather have mostly sunny skies and a little bit of humidity on Friday, or what you had last week?
True.
I would rather have a little humidity and sunny skies.
The bright side
definitely.
of things, Kenton.
Because, you know, and the thing is, Chris and I thought we had dodged, the 5 o'clock went very well there in Jefferson City. I thought, I think we're going to get out of this and not even get wet.
Little did you know, the whole time I'm tracking it back in studio, I'm like, hey, Jim and Chris, you're going to get rain next hour. And
Kenton
you couldn't
was
hear
grinning
me.
ear to ear, dry back here in the studio.
And I'll tell you, I was down in California and we didn't miss it. We didn't keep it dry.